again, I hope you're all having a good week, feeling happy, productive, and healthy. This past week has been pretty great for me, actually. I felt on track with everything. I had everything done that I wanted to get done. I had all my episodes up on time. I hit 30 episodes on my podcast, which I'm very happy about, very proud of. I want to keep on going with my podcast and making sure that I feel happy doing it, and feel that I'm contributing something to my own skills by keeping the podcast up. But other than that, CRC, I was in at CRC FM this past weekend. I was on my first sports show. I mentioned that I was going to be contributing to a sports show on CRC FM, and it's going to be over the weekends, and that was my first appearance there this past weekend, and it was very good. I really enjoyed it. I was on with 3 different people, including the host, Aidan Crowley, 2 of the fellas. One is an ex-ref in our local football club, and the other is a lad. He's a young lad, and he's very passionate about football. He knows a lot. So there's a good quality of conversation on there, and I felt very lucky to be on with them and talking and having a good time, and yeah, it was really good. I felt like it was a really good conversation. It was really good for a show for me as well. So only onwards and upwards now. But yeah, sports, like I said, is one of those areas that I want to edge out into and add to my work placement in CRC FM. And I do want to be a presenter one day, and that's my goal. So the goal for me would be not just a contributor on that show, but becoming a presenter on that show. And that will come in time. I have to learn the ropes and learn how to work the controls, because I can't just be presenting and not learn how to use the controls in putting a show together. So it'll be great to actually learn the controls of putting a show together, and that'll be great for my CV as well, especially when I aim to go up to higher heights in terms of getting a job in a bigger radio station someday. But yeah, overall it was great. It was great to be in with other people talking sports. I love talking sports. I love talking Premiership football mostly. That's my sport I love to talk about. As you know, on this podcast, that's the only kind of sport I talk about. But again, it's one of the more popular sports in the world, and the Premiership in terms of football is one of the more popular leagues in the world. So there's endless amounts of people who want to talk football, and I'm just lucky that I'm privileged that I'm on a show where I get to talk about that. So yeah, that's what I was at this weekend. This past week, obviously, I had my segments on CRC FM. I reviewed Venom 2 and another Marvel movie in Black Widow in my segments this past week. This week I plan to do Halloween themed episodes with Aidan Crowley and CRC FM for my segments. Obviously, because Halloween is coming up, so I've planned all those out. I'm going to go see the new Halloween movie in cinemas tonight, actually, with Leanne. I'm looking forward to that. So one of my segments this week is going to be reviewing the original Halloween movie versus the newest Halloween movie and seeing how they stack up against each other. I want to talk about the football from this past weekend. Like I said, I was on CRC and we reviewed the Arsenal and Aston Villa game and the Chelsea and Norwich game. I honestly didn't know how the Aston Villa and Arsenal game would turn out. Obviously, Aston Villa over the past couple of years have proven themselves to be a team to take seriously in the Premiership. They've held their own very well, and even after losing Grealish, they've invested their money wisely, bringing in good players like Leon Bailey, Danny Ings, and the likes of Emi Buendia as well, which is a great player from Norwich. But like I said, Grealish was a big part of that team, and they probably would have to invest more down the line to fully replace the contribution he made to Aston Villa. However, I thought it was going to be a tough match for both teams involved. Obviously, Arsenal are still trying to find their way back out of this big hole that they've dug for themselves under Arteta, still trying to make it into the top 10. I think from their win against Aston Villa, they're back in the top 10 now. But again, you wouldn't put it past them to go on a losing streak again, because they've been so inconsistent. Overall, I thought Aston Villa were outplayed by Arsenal in this game. Arsenal had a game plan and they stuck to it. They were defensively sound. Aaron Ramsdale had a great game. Very little to do. And the one goal that was conceded was a consolation goal at that stage because they were already 3-0 up. Emile Smith-Rowe was a player that was featured heavily in the lead up to the game. A lot of eyes were on him, obviously a young prospect for Arsenal, and I think a lot of pundits were looking at him to make a difference in the game, which he did, scoring a goal, an excellent goal as well. Overall, I thought Arsenal deserved to win the game. There were a few not controversies, but a few areas of the game where I thought Aston Villa had a hard go of it and it was a bit harsh. Obviously, the penalty just on the edge of half time, I thought that was kind of like the nail in the coffin for them to concede a penalty on the edge of half time like that. Such a harsh way to go, and it was called to VAR, and VAR made the decision that it was a penalty, and they went 2-0 up on the edge of half time. Aubameyang putting it away. But yeah, I thought Matt Targett didn't intentionally go into harm Lacazette. He went for the ball. Obviously, if you're tackled in the box like that, any player is going to make a meal of it and try and get a penalty for his team. And that's exactly what Lacazette did in that situation. I felt bad for Matt Targett in that situation as well. And the referee was pretty liberal with the yellow cards this game. I think there was 4 yellow cards in total for Aston Villa during the game. But overall, like I said, Aston Villa just didn't show up enough to this game, and Arsenal deserved to win. And that was the end result anyway. It was 3-1. Again, like I said, a well-deserved win and well-fought victory for Arsenal in this game. In the Saturday game, we saw Chelsea kick off against Norwich, and fuck me, what a domination. Chelsea obviously scoring 7 goals in that game. Tuchel really seems to have created a well-oiled machine in Chelsea this season. They seem dominant, they seem confident, and look very at ease on the ball. It looked like a training pitch kind of routine for them against Norwich. It looked like they were just in training and having the crack. And once they got that first goal, there was nothing stopping them. Hudson-Odoi bossing the midfield along with Mason Mount. I don't know which one of them got man of the match, but I'm assuming one of them did because they had such an excellent game. Ben Chilwell getting on the score sheet along with Reece James, the right back and the left back scoring goals. Great goals as well. Just shows how dominant they were in this game. Once that first goal went in, there was nothing stopping them, and Norwich did not seem to have a game plan after that. There was stages of the game where Norwich were trying to counter-attack, do a counter-press once they got in possession, but Chelsea were having none of it. And at some stage during the game, I think it was after half-time, Norwich had such a hard time keeping possession for more than a couple of minutes. Chelsea just wanted to get down to that second half and spend most of their time in Norwich half, and they did. They spent most of their time in possession in the other half of the pitch. Like I said, Mason Mount with a great goal to start off the game in the 7th minute. Hudson-Odoi, boss in the midfield, had a great counter-attack where he scored a goal. I think it was his second goal. And he had a great setup as well for, I think it was Mason Mount's goal. He actually started that attack. Overall, Chelsea looked dangerous. They look dangerous under Tuchel. Hi guys, hope you all enjoyed this short highlight clip. If you did and you want to check out my full episodes, you can always check out my podcast Finding Yourself up on Anchor FM and Spotify. The links are available in the description. Thanks for listening.